Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
More than 1,000 people died in Southeast Asia. A massive flood hit many countries in late November and early December 2025. This was one of the biggest natural disasters the region had seen in decades. It caused great sadness and damage. Many records were broken, and local systems failed. The heavy rain was more than anyone expected. In Thailand, the city of Hat Yai had the most rain in one single day for 300 years. This huge amount of water quickly filled streets, homes, and shops. The city's water pipes and drains could not carry away so much water. This flood affected Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Thailand, and Malaysia very badly. Over 1,000 people lost their lives, and hundreds more were missing. Millions of people had to leave their homes because of the water. They needed safe places to stay. Hospitals struggled to help all the sick and injured. The morgues in some hospitals became full very quickly. They even needed to use special refrigerated trucks for the dead. This shows how serious the disaster was. The region was in a big crisis, facing many problems all at once. It was a time of great challenge and sorrow for everyone. 2. The rains came down. The rain started and did not stop, falling heavily day after day. In Thailand, the southern areas faced the worst flood in 10 years. The city of Hat Yai, a big economic center, saw record amounts of water. On November 21, the city had 335 millimeters of rain in just one day. This was the most rain in one day for 300 years. In only 3 days, Hat Yai got about 630 millimeters of rain. This was far too much for the city's water pipes and drains. Homes, shops, and whole neighborhoods quickly filled with water. 2 strong storms brought this heavy rain. Tropical Storm Senyar hit Indonesia, Malaysia, and southern Thailand, causing much damage. At the same time, another storm named Cyclone Ditwa caused big problems in Sri Lanka. These 2 storms, with other normal monsoon rains, created an impossible situation. People did not have time to prepare for such a large amount of water. Water levels quickly went up everywhere, reaching dangerous heights. In Songkhla province in Thailand, the water rose to 3 meters, about 10 feet. Whole areas went underwater, making roads impossible to use. Many people had to climb onto their roofs to be safe, waiting for help. In central Vietnam, some villages saw water between 1.5 and 3 meters deep. The rainfall there was also very heavy, with some places getting over 800 millimeters in just one day. The high water caused immediate chaos and severe problems. Hospitals and morgues quickly became overwhelmed. In Hat Yai, the Songkhla Gurind Hospital's morgue quickly became full. Staff had to use special cold trucks to keep the dead bodies. This showed how serious the disaster was. A part of a hospital in southern Thailand, where 30 new babies were, was completely cut off. Water reached 2.4 meters high around it. Many places needed urgent help as the rains continued and water kept rising. 3. People in danger. The floods brought terrible loss of life across Southeast Asia. More than 1,000 people died in total. In Indonesia, 502 people were confirmed dead. Sadly, more than 500 people were still missing there, especially in Sumatra. Sri Lanka also suffered greatly, with 212 people dead and 218 missing after Cyclone Ditwa. Thailand counted 170 deaths, but the disaster affected over 3.8 million people. Malaysia had fewer deaths, with 2 people losing their lives. Millions of people have to leave their homes because of the rising water. They moved to temporary shelters, such as schools or government buildings. In Thailand, over 40,000 people stayed in these safe places. Malaysia moved about 30,000 people to safety. Sri Lanka saw the largest number of displaced people for its size, with nearly 200,000 citizens moving to almost 1,300 shelters. In Indonesia, around 300,000 people were forced to leave their houses, needing new places to stay. Rescue teams worked very hard to save people, but it was a difficult task. They struggled for many days to reach remote communities because roads were blocked by water and mud. In Sri Lanka, over 24,000 police, army, and Air Force personnel joined the rescue efforts. Thailand used military aircraft carriers, 20 helicopters, and trucks to bring supplies and help people get out of flooded areas. In some parts of Indonesia, like Batang Toru, so many people died that mass graves had to be made because there was no more space in morgues. Many vulnerable people faced extreme danger. In a hospital in southern Thailand, 30 newborn babies, their mothers, and the medical staff were cut off by floodwaters. The water around the hospital rose about 8 feet high. Children, women, pregnant people, and those with disabilities were especially at risk and often needed help to get to shelters. Some desperate people in Indonesia even stole food and water to survive. One person shared their sad story, saying they were stuck in the water for 7 days with no help arriving. 4. A broken economy. The powerful floods caused immense financial damage across Southeast Asia. The total cost of the disaster was estimated to be more than several billion US dollars. This created serious economic challenges for many countries in the region. Thailand felt a heavy financial blow. Initial estimates showed the damage was around 776 million US dollars. However, experts believed this amount could grow much higher as businesses faced long closures. The southern areas of Thailand, which contribute a significant part of the country's wealth, were severely affected. Thailand's important rubber industry suffered greatly. The floods caused losses of about 140 million US dollars for rubber production. Many rubber farms and factories had to stop working. This meant roughly 90,000 metric tons less rubber for the world market. Vietnam's farming sector also faced huge losses. The total economic damage for farms was estimated at about 496 million US dollars. The floodwaters covered over 147,000 hectares of rice fields. Many other crops, totaling about 117,000 hectares, were also destroyed. Over 3.3 million farm animals, including livestock and poultry, were lost or displaced. This damage deeply affected farmers' ability to earn money and created concerns about food supply. Across the affected countries, thousands of homes and important roads were destroyed. In Indonesia, more than 28,000 houses were damaged or completely ruined by the water. Vietnam saw over 220 houses collapse entirely, and nearly 1,000 more were partly broken. Almost 200,000 homes were submerged underwater for days. Roads and bridges were also heavily damaged or washed away. This made travel difficult and slowed down rescue efforts and the delivery of help to people who needed it most. Indonesia's President Prabowo Subianto called the situation a national catastrophe. He promised that the government would work to rebuild the damaged infrastructure. The financial burden of the floods was very heavy for the entire region. 5. A sign from the sky. The very big floods were not just by chance. A natural weather event called La Niña was happening. This event causes the seawater in parts of the Pacific Ocean to become cooler than normal. This change in the ocean leads to much more rain falling in areas like Southeast Asia. Scientists knew about these La Niña conditions. They had warned that there would be more rain than usual. They even said that serious floods were possible. But many places in the region were not ready. The warnings did not result in enough new plans or changes. Cities and towns often had old water systems that could not handle so much rain. So these floods were not a total surprise. They showed that knowing about a problem is not enough. Proper actions and strong plans are also needed. The old ways of preparing for rain were simply not good enough anymore. The amount of rain that fell in some places, like Hat Yai, used to happen only once in hundreds of years. Now, this very heavy rain is happening more often. This brings us to a bigger, global issue: climate change. The Earth's weather is changing because the planet is getting warmer. This warming makes strong weather events, like very heavy rain, happen more often and with more power. La Niña, combined with climate change, created the extreme rainfall. This made the recent floods much worse. It is a clear sign that our climate is different now. Many cities in Southeast Asia grew quickly, but the systems to take away water, like drains, did not improve at the same speed. These systems were built for older, milder weather. They could not deal with the new, intense rain that climate change now causes. This made the flood problems much worse. The region needs to find new and better ways to manage the water from the sky. 6. Old walls, new floods. The huge floods showed a big problem. Many cities were not ready. The water systems that carry rain away were too old. They were built many years ago for much less rain. Because of this, when the storms came, the old systems quickly failed. Hat Yai, a busy city in Thailand, was one such place. Its water systems were made based on how much rain fell over the last 300 years. But during the recent floods, Hat Yai saw the most rain in one day for 300 years. On November 21, 335 millimeters of rain fell. Over 3 days, the city got about 630 millimeters. This was far too much for the old drains. Homes and shops filled with water. The city's water systems simply could not handle such heavy rain. Some places have built better ways to fight floods. For example, Singapore worked hard to reduce flood areas by 30%. They used new water cleaning systems and made their drains bigger. Malaysia also built stronger water networks that helped prevent problems during bad weather. In Thailand, some areas mixed natural solutions with new water plants, which helped lower flood risk by 25%. However, these good examples were mostly in richer cities. In many other parts of Southeast Asia, the money spent on new water systems was not enough. Cities grew very fast, but the water systems did not grow with them. This left many places vulnerable. The big problem is that the buildings and systems we have are not ready for the stronger storms that are now happening. Experts say that damage from floods in cities in Indonesia could become 4 times worse by 2030. The region needs to build much stronger defenses to face the new reality of heavier rain and more floods. 7. Governments under pressure. Governments faced big problems after the massive floods hit Southeast Asia. In Thailand, the government recognized the severe situation. They quickly set up plans to help, offering money to families who lost loved ones, up to 2 million baht. Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul openly accepted responsibility for the crisis. He pledged to use all his skills to improve the situation and help the affected areas recover. They quickly started giving out compensation, with the first payment reaching over 26,000 people. Despite these efforts, many people felt angry and criticized the slow response. In Thailand, some lawmakers said the government had misjudged the situation and made mistakes in handling the emergency. As a result, 2 local officials were removed from their duties because of problems with how they managed the crisis. One flood victim named Yai Tanita Tahio shared a sad story, saying they were stuck in the water for 7 days, but no help arrived. This highlights serious delays in getting aid to some of the most desperate people. In Indonesia, President Prabowo Subianto called the floods a national disaster and promised to rebuild thousands of damaged homes. Yet the help was not always fast enough. In some flooded parts of Sumatra, people were so desperate for food and water that they had to steal to survive. showing how bad the situation was when emergency systems were overwhelmed. Working together, countries had some successes. Malaysia's government helped more than 1,400 of its citizens leave flooded hotels in Thailand safely. International groups like Plan International and the AHA Center also stepped in to provide urgent help across the affected nations. However, these efforts often faced huge challenges. For instance, Indonesian rescuers struggled for many days to reach remote communities cut off by landslides and debris. Even with Thailand's military using many helicopters and large boats, it was not enough to save everyone or prevent thousands from losing their homes for weeks. This showed that while international help was good, the disaster was still too big for the systems in place. 8. The new normal. The great floods across Southeast Asia brought much sadness. Over 1,000 people died, and millions lost their homes and everything they owned. This terrible event happened because of very heavy rainfall, strong storms like Senyar and Ditwa, and a special weather pattern called La Niña. Scientists also linked these extreme events to changes in the global climate. This disaster made one thing clear: extreme weather is not rare anymore. Events that once happened only every few hundred years, such as the record rain in Hat Yai, might become common. We must now accept that our planet's weather is changing. The new normal means stronger storms and more severe floods could happen any time. The big challenge ahead is to learn how to live with this new climate reality. Governments and communities must work together to adapt. This means building better infrastructure, like stronger drainage systems and flood-resistant homes. It also means creating clear plans for emergency responses, so people know what to do when floods come. Education and early warning systems are key to protecting lives and property. Protecting people will require ongoing effort and smart decisions. It means investing in long-term solutions, not just fixing problems after they happen. We need to be ready for the future. What do you think is the single most important action people or governments should take to prepare for these new weather patterns?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.